What's happening? It's Darian, the Mouth of the South, Gray, and I'm going to be wearing this shirt every day. Every video is going to be washed. Not every day because I'm not dirty. But every video, I'm going to be wearing this shirt because it's important for you guys to go vote. If you haven't already, make sure you get to the polls. I'm wearing it every day until November 3rd. You can early vote to October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. Make sure you go out there and you vote for real. Now, on point blank period today, we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints because that's my game of the week for the NFC South Division in Week 7.
You can sleep when you die. Point blank period.
And you know this, man.
Usually I do 3 matchups, but this time I'm going to do 2 storylines and 2 matchups because I just think I have to highlight these things. I just got the news that, if you listen to my podcast, I didn't have the news that night. I told you guys I recorded it. But now, this morning, the news broke that Emmanuel Sanders will not be playing. He is on the COVID list. And Michael Thomas had a hamstring injury that kept him out of practice on Thursday. And I'm thinking, and Friday, and I'm thinking it's quite likely that he will not play. I don't think he should or will play because I don't want to risk him getting hurt in a Week 7 matchup. So that means you're going to have neither one of your top 2 receivers. I was a little bit confident with Mike not playing because E-Man was playing well. But now you're going to have Alvin Kamara and Jared Cook, who I think are going to have big games through the air because the only receivers that the Saints have, and not saying these guys can't get it done, is Traquan Smith, who we've seen get it done, Marquez Callaway, which I actually was impressed with, and I think he looks like a decent receiver, and Deontay Harris is coming back, and he's more the over-the-top guy, but who knows how Bree's arm going to be. So I don't know how much they're going to be able to use him other than in the quick game, but they only have 3 healthy receivers. So let's look for some guys to come up, maybe Jawan Johnson. I don't know if LaJordan Humphrey's still on the practice squad or not. I'm sure Austin Carr's somewhere around there. But anyway, the other storyline I want to get to, and I think it's the most, not important, but it's definitely the most publicized one, is Teddy Bridgewater coming back to New Orleans. And I'm glad that Mayor Cantrell allowed fans in the stadium for this purpose. Like, I'm not about to get into whether it was the right decision or whatnot, or what her motives behind not allowing them at first, but the Saints have 3,000 fans in the stadium this game. And I think that if I'm the Carolina Panthers, the first play of the game that I'm on offense, I am taking a bomb. Maybe even the first 2 if the first one doesn't work. I am taking a shot the very first play because when Teddy walks out, he's going to get cheered. But as soon as the game gets going, he's going to get booed just like everybody else. Everybody knows that Teddy Bridgewater spent the last 2 seasons backing up Drew Brees. And you know, besides that 5-0 run last year that most definitely probably got him that job, I would think, along with Joe Brady being there, who I'll get to in a little bit, he just was a guy who, he got a lot of love. He became one of my favorites. He became a fan favorite in New Orleans, you know, riding his bike to the game, just immersing himself in the culture of New Orleans and what it brings and showing love. And I think that he became a lot of people's favorite. He wore my favorite number. And I always said if Teddy Bridgewater became the starter, I'd have his jersey within a week. Like, there's no question about it. But I didn't want to get it because it was backup. But he wears my favorite number. And I'm going to read something I wrote when he signed with the Panthers. March 17th, 2020. When we signed Teddy 2 years ago, I made a video saying he was the quarterback of the future. He seemed like a big part of the team, yet he barely played. But then he went 5-0, and I thought I was right. Obviously, I wasn't. But over these years, he became one of my favorite players on the team. He always showed love to the city, and they showed love back. He made Chopper Style big again. I'll never forget you running on the field with your beanie still on. And I know you're going to Carolina, but I'm still be rooting for you 14 games out the year. Love you 5. You will be missed. I rock with Teddy. I think he has a great story. I think he's a great person. Everything I've seen from him is just somebody you want to root for. But I said I was rooting 14 out of 16. These are the 2 that's missing. I'm not rooting for him against the Saints. I'm not that type of person. I said that there's a section of Saints fans that root for Joe Burrow. And it might be Bengal fans because of him. That's not the same for Teddy. They'll root for Teddy, but they ain't going to be no Panther fans. They're a divisional matchup, and right now he's going against us, so he is the enemy. But this is a homecoming, and I expect him to get a standing ovation from the 3,000 fans that are there. So, but once that game get rocking, I mean, it's not going to be the full Superdome, but 3,000 is, you know, get some noise in there. Get some sort of home field advantage. Now, in there, I was talking about Joe Brady. And in Joe Brady's system, it's very similar to Sean Payton's system. So I'm wondering how the defenses will feel. They faced a similar system in practice every day. The Saints have done it for years. The Panthers have done it for some games. So maybe the Saints defense has an advantage in that aspect. When talking about the offense, Drew Brees said, when you look at Brady, the concepts, the base concepts are similar, but some things are changed to fit the personnel. So obviously it's not copy and paste. But I just say that to say there's some similarities. We'll see what Joe Brady does. He came in. That was his introduction to the NFL was the Saints. But in Louisiana, he's more known for what he brought to LSU, and that is a national championship. I do think that without him, that wasn't going to happen. So with all that being said, you got Joe Brady. He needs to right the wrongs outside of his connections with the Saints. He needs to right the wrongs that the Panthers had last week. Teddy didn't have a good game. The running game didn't have a good game. And protection didn't have a good game. The offense was all around out of sorts. So it's Joe Brady's job now to call the right plays and make sure he gets that rhythm going. And since we talk about calling plays, I'm going to go to Sean Payton. It's Joe Brady versus Sean Payton. Not because of the connection they have, but because Sean Payton's offensive play calling at times has disrupted the rhythm of the team. And I'm not as hard on it as other people are. Some people hate how you've been calling the game, not running the ball enough. And I've given him some slack. I definitely have, and I still do. But with me, there's one particular thing that I'm looking out for. And if you watch my last vent on the New Orleans Saints, you might know I'm going with this one. And that's Taysom Hill. I need Taysom Hill's usage to be used better. I know it's not going to happen. Saints, if you're a Saints fan, do not get to calling for Taysom Hill to stop being used at quarterback. I understand that he's made some mistakes, and it would be nice to say just don't put him at quarterback. We don't think this guy is the future. That's okay, but the Saints are not going to do that, and you have to be realistic with yourself. The Saints are not going to stop using Taysom Hill at the quarterback position. All I can ask for is that they use him smarter. If it's not first down or second and short, I don't want him there. I don't want to run that play that everybody knows is coming on a third and short. If it's second and short, hey, if he doesn't get it, whatever, we have another shot. If it's first down, we have 2 shots to make up for whatever that play was. But do not take Drew Brees out of the game when he's in a rhythm. And please do not use that play in critical situations because you're banking on Taysom just being better than the next man because I do not think it's fooling anybody. And I also want the Saints to try to start the game off better because they have not scored a touchdown on the opening possession yet. So I will be looking at those first 15 plays that Sean Payton is scripting. And then my last matchup, and could be the most critical to the success of the game, with those 2 receivers being out for the Saints, this is going to need to be a defensive ball game for the Saints. So the defense has to step up, and I'm keying on you, Marshawn Lattimore. This week in your press conference, Marshawn Lattimore came out, and he had his chest out, and I think he came out there with a mission to defend himself. Point blank, period. That's what he came out there and was going to do. He's heard it. Fans have talked about him, me included. He's heard all the talk. And he came into that press conference specifically to defend himself. But I said, enough talking, let's do it. He said, if his man up, ain't nobody going to beat him. And the Saints are playing a little bit more zone, so I understand what he's saying. But I need you to show up. And if we're going under the mindset, and, you know, Chris Osvoglu, if you listen to his podcast, Straight Up Saints, he said he doesn't like this mindset, but I understand where he's coming from. But I'm going to hold on to it for maybe a week more. About Lattimore's decision to play against great receivers versus not so great receivers. Right now, Robbie Anderson is playing like a monster. He is playing top tier, and he should have Marshawn's respect. If Marshawn Lattimore has a tough game this week, I'm with Chris. I'm done with that mentality. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, whoever he's on, is playing well. You Google Robbie Anderson in Google right now. I kid you not. Do it. Like right now, though. Like within 3 days of this video. It might change otherwise. Or within 2 days of this video. You Google his name, you will see not just a deep threat. Because that's what his season has proved, that he is not just a deep threat. And he's proved to be an all-around receiver. And I appreciate, because I like Robbie Anderson. I actually wanted the Saints to pick him up. So I appreciate his skill set being on full display. I just don't want it to be on full display against us this week. Who knows if Marshawn even goes up against Robbie? Because I could see the Saints just playing sides. But for years, I've seen the Saints put the number 2 receiver on DJ Moore more often because he's just a small, shifty guy, and that's not Marshawn's bag. So I think I'll see a lot Marshawn versus Robbie Anderson. You have to show that you are not just talking about being able to lock down receivers, and you can do it, and that you deserve to puff out your chest in press conferences. Point blank, period. And with that being said, I'm going to close out with this. I think that the Saints win this game Nah, man, I can't even lie to you. I want to say that. It's going to be hard. This is a toss-up game. If Sanders was playing, I thought the Saints were winning for sure. With him being out, it's very difficult. I'm going to say the Saints pull out in a nail-biter. And bold prediction, they force at least one turnover this week. At least one. I'm not going to say who's going to get it, but they're going to force at least one. But welcome home, Teddy Bridgewater. Can't wait to see you Sunday. Point blank, period.